We are going to get started on this amazing BDC informational webinar. So I want to thank everyone for taking the time. Happy Wednesday, everybody. We're halfway through the week and it's almost summer. My name is Gina Jackson. I am a proud member of the Seashell Nation on the Sunshine Coast. I want to acknowledge that I am honored to be on the territories of the unceded territories of the Squamish, the Tsleil-Waututh, and the Musqueam people. I am located in Coquitlam, so I'd also like to acknowledge Coquitlam, the Coquitlam First Nation, and then also our guests are on Stolo territory, which is across the bridge in Surrey in the Fraser Valley. So thank you for joining us today. My name again is Gina Jackson. I am the creator and executive producer and one of the core judges of the Bears Lair TV show, which is an entrepreneurial show, much like the Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, but it's only Indigenous. And we are kind, we're uplifting, we celebrate the diversity of all Indigenous cultures all over Canada. And we are absolutely thrilled to announce that we are signed on for season 2. And we are going to be putting the contestant applications out tomorrow. And we have about 9,000 people, 9,000 Indigenous entrepreneurs that have already inquired about how we apply. I want to give my appreciation to BDC. BDC was the absolute first sponsor to sign on for season 1. And it was sight unseen. It was just an idea about passion, about advancement for Indigenous entrepreneurs to platform business. So I really, really want to acknowledge and put my hands up to BDC for being such a cheerleader and support. I would like to introduce, so thank you for joining us and listening to 2 BDC experts today they are going to facilitate an interactive workshop where Tricia Chio and Nick Fry will inform us all about digital adoption and funds available to take your business to the next level. First of all, it's my honor to introduce Tricia Chio. She is the Senior Account Manager, Fraser Valley Entrepreneurship Center for BDC. Tricia has over 30 years of experience in the financial industry. Tricia is a development banker and an enabler of collaboration at every stage of an entrepreneur's journey. Tricia assesses and meets the needs of each entrepreneur's growth and then tailors solutions and financing together for entrepreneurial growth. Thank you for being with us today, Tricia. Secondly, I would like to introduce Nick Fry. He's a manager at Fraser Valley Entrepreneurship Center, BDC. Nick has worked 27 years for BDC, helping hundreds of entrepreneurs build their own businesses, not only through financial solutions, but by connecting them to BDC's game-changing advisory services. So I'm so honored to have you here today and so honored that our guests have taken the time to listen to your presentation. So I will let you take the show.
So hello, everyone, and thank you for having us. First, I'd like to acknowledge that we are joining you from the unceded traditional territories of the Stolo people in Fraser Valley here in BC. And while we meet today on a virtual platform, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands which we each call home. And that BDC has a rich and long history of working with Indigenous entrepreneurs, and we appreciate your unique histories, cultures, and contribution in Canada. We stand in solidarity with you and all Indigenous people and are committed to listening, learning, and taking action towards reconciliation. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you today. My name is Tricia Chia, Senior Account Manager with BDC, and I'm joined with Nick Fry, Manager, Entrepreneurship Center. Nick, did you want to add a few words?
No, I'm just, as you're really excited to be a part of this and not only hopefully helping out the participants here, but also learning from them in terms of their challenges and how we may be able to help going forward.
Thank you, Nick. So why now is the time to digitize your business and the benefits of digital adoption for small and medium-sized enterprises? That's what our topic will be about today. And our agenda is going to cover a bit about BDC, what is digital maturity, the benefits of the digital adoption, and how BDC can help with this. Let's begin to talk a little bit about BDC and why we are so passionate about supporting entrepreneurs like you. BDC is Canada's bank for entrepreneurs, and we are a very different bank. We work with small and medium-sized businesses. We call them SMEs, which are companies with less than 500 employees, and that actually makes up about 99.8% of all businesses in Canada. We have now actually reached over 100 clients as of, I believe, last week. And we cover industries at all stages of growth right across Canada. We do work also with an extensive network of trusted advisors and partners across the country dedicated to supporting the Indigenous community, working together with you to create the right solutions for your business so that we can help you with your long-term growth. And so BDC is truly a development bank, and we're focused on your long-term success and with you throughout your entire journey. And as Canada's development bank, diversity and inclusion are part of our values and business strategy. We want our organization and the entrepreneurial ecosystem to reflect Canada's increasingly diverse workforce and business community. And that's why it's very important to us to increase the number of diverse owned and led businesses in Canada, such as yours. And our commitment starts internally with a measurable diversity, equity, and inclusion action plan and extends to the entrepreneurs we serve. Our client diversity strategy ensures that all entrepreneurs can thrive in the Canadian entrepreneurial ecosystem and that all of the BDC employees have a diverse and inclusive mindset when it comes to serving Canadian business owners. So we want to make sure that all of the entrepreneurs of all backgrounds are serviced and supported. And so what makes BDC different? We are a patient, flexible, long-term lender. Our loans are structured over a longer repayment period. We make sure that the repayment schedule matches the cash flow of your business because we understand that cash is the most important thing as you're running your business cycle. We take on a higher risk tolerance, and our terms and conditions don't change without due cause. What that means is once you start a relationship with BDC, throughout that term and that life of the loan, regardless of economic cycles that might be impacting your business, we are here to support you through that. And so we consider us to be the non-demand loan structure there. And we are also committed to sustainability because we want to help Canada and its entrepreneurs to create a prosperous, inclusive, green economy. We are committed to empowering business owners of today to build a prosperous future for generations to come.
Thanks, Tricia. Yeah, so how do we be different in a very specific way? There's 8 sort of examples here of the types of financing that we do. I'll give you a second just to read through those. And as you can see, they cover almost every need a business could want, from the very beginning, starting a business to building up to large-scale, multi-million-dollar companies. Specifically, I want to highlight 3 things. One is the access to working capital. A lot of companies right now, because of the economic environment we're in, because of the challenges with changing interest rates and demands from the economy, are looking for that extra bit of support. And so we can do loans from $25,000 to $500,000 or more in working capital to make sure they continue to grow. We also are seeing a lot of change of ownerships, companies transitioning from one ownership to another as business owners retire or grow. So buying a business is something we spend a lot of time working on and are become experts on, especially again at that lower dollar figure for the SMEs, where they don't necessarily have the support from experts and professionals that we can provide. And the final thing is really, and we're talking about this today, is investing in technology. Oftentimes technology is not something tangible where there's value after you purchase it. So we look hard at how the technology is going to impact your business and grow your business, and use that information to make sure that you have at your fingertips what you need to continue to be successful. We also have an advisory services department at the bank. We're the only bank in Canada that has both financing and the consulting advice that you need to be truly successful. Our goal overall is to make sure you can overcome any challenge that your business faces or that you face as an entrepreneur, so you can end up running a stronger, more successful business. We want you to grow. That is the main goal of BDC, but we want you to do it effectively, profitably, and sustainably. And that's how we provide support through advisory. We can improve efficiency, and we can find you new markets. We can do whatever you need, and based on your analysis, to see success come through. Today, specifically, we're going to talk about digital maturity. I don't have a really solid definition of what digital maturity is in terms of technical, but we do understand a lot about how critical it is for any company to understand how important becoming digital, innovative, and adapting technology can be for your success. The way we look at it is we are devoted to entrepreneurs. Our goal then, therefore, is to understand technology and understand how to support businesses who need the technology to make it easier for them to grow and adapt to new trends. Some companies we know, I've been banking for 27 years. The internet didn't exist. So things have changed a little bit since I've started, and the bank has really helped me and entrepreneurs keep up with today's pace of change. Right now, you'll see the picture on the screen. 3D printing is a huge trend. You look at the ways machines are taking over manual tasks to allow companies to become more efficient, and the way they're using the internet to exchange information and access new markets. We did a study on digital adoption at the bank. We did a survey in December of 2021, and asked over 1,500 SMEs about their digital adoption and how digital technology has helped them. We learned that the Canadians are investing a lot in digital adoption, but there's still a lot more work to be done, and they need access to financing and support in order to make that technology impact their business as much as possible. So we're looking at that as an opportunity for us to help, an opportunity to help you to grow your business. When we talk about digital technology, what are we actually talking about? Well, there's the normal stuff when you deal with customers. Your website, is it up to date? Can it accept information? Can you make good contacts? Can you actually take orders over your website? You look at online video and things like Zoom and here, are you able to connect with your clients through that way? Are you introducing a mobile app that may become available and useful for your business? And finally, most importantly, the e-commerce aspect of business has been growing exponentially ever since COVID. And we're looking at ways we can help clients do that as well. As far as your business itself, there's a whole bunch of technology that can be implemented there. I mentioned 3D printing and automation. There's the Internet of Things, or IoT. I'm learning a new acronym every day, and that's a new one for me. ERP and CRM, client relationship systems. Are they important to your business? Do you have them? And are they available to you on a regular basis? I know for us, invoicing software and financial accounting software is huge when we deal with businesses and their ability to get us information on their financial performance quickly and easily. All of those things are interconnected. You can't run your inventory without understanding your accounting, and you can't automate if you don't know the impact on your business. So a lot of these back office activities is not about implementing one piece of the puzzle, but how they all work together to complete digital adoption and build a foundation that your business can grow from.
Perfect. Thank you, Nick. And so BDC has launched a free digital maturity assessment tool you can use to compare your business to other Canadian firms in your industry and identify opportunities for improvements. And once you get your personalized results, you can download a detailed printable report containing recommended readings and information on best practices. So you will see here, and you will get a copy of this presentation, the link directly to that assessment tool. It's free, it's simple, it's easy to use, takes probably not more than 4 minutes. Also on this site here, you'll see the Entrepreneur Toolkit. So aside from this digital assessment, there are many other tools and assessment that are really easy to use for you to look at and take a look at where you stand and some more, information that you want to better yourself and build some knowledge around. And so let's talk about the benefits of the digital adoption and why you want to proceed with looking at doing this. Our research has found that there is significant benefits from companies that are digitally mature. And these businesses have reported that they are more likely to have higher sales and are more resilient. They are more likely to export, more likely to have developed or introduced innovation. So those are just some reasons as to why you would really want to look at investing digitally to make yourself more operationally efficient as well. And if you take a look at the slide, it's not actually very expensive to get started at some entry-level digital technologies. So some low-cost solutions are available to entrepreneurs with websites at less than $29 a month, collaborative tools at about $25 a month, and ERP systems, which is $55 to $85 a month as a starting point. So now that you have invested into your business, let's take a look at why it's important to protect your investment. And so, Nick?
So I think everyone's heard about the different ransomware and cyber attacks and things like that, but it always seems to be in the news. It always seems to be about larger companies or things that maybe not that's something you can relate to. Well, we're here to tell you we did a survey. It affects every possibility of affecting every business in Canada, as long as you have data or something of value that these hackers want. In fact, 2 in 10 of the SMEs in the study that we did experienced at least one cyber attack in 2021. The average cost was $50,000. If you think of a small business who may not make that much, $50,000 could be a huge impact. And that's just the actual dollar cost. There are far more higher costs in terms of reputation risk, in terms of time from management, possibly the business being down and out, that are added to that. So it's a big risk, and you've got to take steps to be able to minimize those risks. The first thing you do is identify where are your valuable assets. You may think that you don't have any valuable assets. If you have customers and you hold on to their information, that's valuable. All right. If you're dealing with suppliers and you've got their information and you're working with those companies, that's valuable. If you have financial information sitting on your computer, banking records, things like that, that's valuable. You got to be very careful and understand that you will have valuable assets, and there are risks to holding on to those. The next step is to create control. There's basic controls that you can talk about, the Norton antivirus and all the malware detection, but there are also security protocols, data encryption, storage systems that you can use to make sure that you minimize the chance that there would be a cyber attack on your business. And then create a culture around your business that everyone is aware that there is a risk to having information. I know BDC trains us on a semi-annual basis on the risks associated with holding on to our clients' information and how we can ensure that it stays within BDC and doesn't leave the organization. And then you just got to monitor it. Make sure you continue to watch the latest trends, because for every time we come up with a way to control it, there's somebody out there trying to circumvent it, right? So how can we help you do that? How can BDC help you? There's a number of different ways. We talked earlier about all the different financing options and loans that are available to a variety of products. We have specific loans and advisory services to help you specifically address shifting your business to more of a digital base, innovating, automating, and things like that. So there's definitely opportunity we can do to help. It can be to buy the equipment, it can be to do R&D, it can be to do research on the different options and coming up with a solution. It can even be to totally automate your systems, not only from a technology point of view, but from an overall structure point of view. One of the ways we do that is with the Canada Digital Adoption Plan. I don't know whether anyone's heard about this, but it's been in the news the last year or so. And what it basically is the government coming forward and saying, we will give you a grant of up to $15,000 to put together a digital plan for your business. You go through an application process, you apply for the grant, and you work with a consultant or a coach to establish what your primary needs are for your business in order to become more digital, how long that may take, and what the cost will be. Now, one of the major barriers for companies has always been, well, guess what? I've got this great plan, but I can't afford to implement it. So it sits on a desk and it gathers dust and it doesn't really make an impact. Well, we took it a step further and are offering 0% loans of up to $100,000 to help you implement. So if your company has under $5 million in revenue, it's $50,000. And if you're over $5 million in revenue, it's $100,000 to help you implement every step of your plan and make sure that your digital adoption has the most impact in your business to help it grow. If you want more information, there is a link at the bottom of this page. And as Tricia said, you'll be getting a copy of the presentation and you can go have a look at it or contact any local office of the BDC and they'll be able to talk to you about it as well.
And BDC has a long tradition of supporting Indigenous communities. So over the last 25 years or more, we're offering in-depth insight into their unique business opportunities and challenges, whether they operate on or off reserve. And according to a study of which we partner with NACA, the National Aboriginal Capital Corporation Association, 43% of Indigenous small business owners consider access to finance as an obstacle for growth. And so BDC is helping to close this gap, and we offer two programs. We have our BDC Indigenous Entrepreneur Loan, and as you can see here, it provides financing up to $350,000 for existing businesses. We have flexible repayment terms, limited personal guarantees, and we also give back a portion of the interest that you have paid on that loan to the community of your choice. And there is nobody else there that does that. The other way that we support is through the Indigenous Growth Fund. And BDC has worked with NACA to design and structure the $150 million Indigenous Growth Fund, which provides entrepreneurs with the capital that they require to start or expand their business. And so entrepreneurs can apply through their local Aboriginal financial institution that serves them, and there is about 58 of them across Canada. And in addition, BDC also continues to partner with Indigenous community organizations to provide financial literacy sessions from coast to coast to coast. And finally, as our commitment, we made the 4 seasons of reconciliation training mandatory for every BDC employee. And we also offer it free to Canadian entrepreneurs so that we can all unlearn and relearn Canada's history. So a lot of this information can be found on our BDC site as well. And supplier diversity is also a priority at BDC. So what this is internally, we are committed to creating an inclusive supply chain and procurement process by sourcing products and services from diverse suppliers such as yourself. And we also promote the value of these programs to our company's Consider Supplier Diversity program to speed up adoption. As a diverse supplier is identified or defined as an organization that is owned and controlled by at least 51% of individuals who are considered Indigenous persons, women, within the LGBTQ community, cultural minorities, visible minorities, individuals with physical limitations or other disabilities. So if you are interested in learning how you can also become recognized as a diverse supplier and open opportunities for you to grow your business, you can find out more information on bdc.ca/supplier. And Nick, I will send it back over to you to wrap this up.
Yeah, great. So what can you take away from today's call? I think the first thing is understanding how important digital adoption is to stay competitive and also to grow and develop your business. Businesses need to recognize that technology is here to stay and will always change, and to stay on top of that and monitor the changes is critically important. But not only is that to grow and stay competitive, it can improve your performance in many different ways, not just making extra money, but also becoming more efficient. It may change the way you operate in terms of your human resources. It may allow people to do different jobs, develop and grow as individuals, and you as an entrepreneur. There's many different ways you can improve your business beyond the bottom line. But what you need to do is start looking at the digital adoption and your position right now. Don't delay this. Don't think there's other things that are more of a priority. These are critical in order to be competitive, to grow, develop business across the country. So the first thing you do is plan to do that. Talk to a BDC representative, talk to your management team, and see what the next steps you might want to take in becoming more digital. So that's it for our formal part of the presentation. I'd like to open it now for any questions you may have about BDC, about becoming digitally mature, about any of the programs that we've discussed that you may be able to take advantage of.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that excellent presentation. I know as an entrepreneur and as a business, I do have a question, and I'll get to one of these questions. Is there, if you go into a local BDC, is there somebody that specifically, that can specifically help an entrepreneur in person to go through their platform of their business and where they're at and how they can think of growing and I know a lot of the barriers are going on websites and going, remembering, I think there's an application for this, and I have a good or service that I think would be great for procurement. How do I do this? And how do I get somebody to walk me through the opportunities and advantages and initiatives that BDC offers?
If you want, the first step is, we're in our offices some of the time. So in terms of sort of in person, the best idea is to set up an appointment to come see one of us. There are so many different options, so many different solutions we have. I think you're right. The key thing is getting a chance to understand your business, where you best fit. Reach out and talk to us either directly through Trisha or I. There's local to most communities. There's 1-800. I don't even remember, Trisha, what's our 1-800 number? I too easily go technology and I email. We do have a direct client contact center who you can spend some time with, and they will direct you as well.
We've got some great questions here. I haven't seen the digital focus with ISC Corp programs. Can a band-owned entity qualify?
I have not seen any the band-owned entities apply that I know of, but I would assume that they would qualify, but I'd have to check on.
Yeah, ISC would be, I think, the government funding source that does a seed funding for most infrastructure for nations. So
Dale, if you want to email me directly, I think my email is up there, but I'll it's nick.fry@bdc.ca. Simple. I can definitely get back to you and I'll let you know.
Perfect. So the next question is there is a myth around the process of implementing a digital adoption solution. People think it's costly and complicated and time consuming. What's the easiest way to start the process?
To start the process, I think it is, you start off with a digital assessment, right? You take a look at what all of that is and why this digital adoption plan is so useful is because it actually helps you go through step by step once you're working with an advisor. The plan is very detailed, it's very easy, very actionable, and it also provides a very detailed budget of what to expect when you're going through with the implementation, and then you can apply for the interest-free loan that was mentioned in the presentation earlier. So as Nick had alluded to, you have to start, and you don't need to worry about, you don't have to be a digital expert and have to understand everything. You just have to recognize that it is something that you do have to do, and talk with us, get yourself registered with ISED, and make sure that you're eligible there through their criteria, which is very simple to get through. It takes less than 20 minutes to go through that process. And then let our advisors help you through understanding how do you navigate through of this. And we're holding your hands throughout this and making it easy for you. So don't hesitate.
Yeah. The costly with the grant, you're covering off the cost of the plan, and with a 0% loan, most of the implementation will be covered. So time, yes, the only really cost there is the time. It's complicated. The application process takes about 15-20 minutes if you have the right information in front of you, and a good coach will decomplicate everything. Time consuming. Our experience is once we assign a coach, and this is just with BDC, I can't comment on any other consultant or any other coach that may implement this. We're looking at from sort of your first meeting to having the plan in your hands is anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks. And that largely depends on the amount of participation the entrepreneur has with the coach and how easy it's to get access to. That at that point, you then submit, and I said, get refunded, get the grant money, and that usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks. And then implementation is as long as the solution.
Excellent, thank you. And I think this is really important, this next question. What was the limit you need to qualify for the grant monetarily, and what other criteria could be provided prior to this to be able to be prepared for a grant? Is it so that you have your business plan with you, that you've been in operation? How long do you have to be in operation for? Is this a startup, an idea of a startup, or is it existing businesses? So how can we best prepare ourselves when we're applying for grants?
So there's two programs under CDAP, one for companies under $500,000 in revenue and one for 500 and above. So the smaller one that boosts your business is about $2,300 grant to help your business get online and get going. It's very focused on that. If you have over $500,000 in revenue, so that means taxes filed with the CRA and getting a notice of assessment. If any year in the last 3 fiscal years you're over 500,000, then you qualify for the digital technology grant, which is the $15,000. And so that's sort of the limits there. As far as information, you need to have a CRA account. Taxes need to be up to date, and basically that's it in terms of application. During the planning process, they may ask you for more. The consultant and the coach may ask you for more information, like business plans and more financial statements. They may ask for any digital plans you've done in the past, for things going forward. So they'll ask you as needed to complete the plan.
Excellent. And is there, I know when I've applied for grants in the past, and I've also helped facilitate entrepreneurs wanting to get grants, there's usually a 15% own source fund, or is there a minimum that entrepreneurs need to have of their own money?
No, the grant covers 90% of the digital plan cost of the digital plan. So for example, if the plan costs $7,500, then there's $750 that you wouldn't get back as part of the grant. But most times the grant, ends up being a bit higher than that. The plan becomes a bit higher than that, so then your grant back. So you're 90% of whatever your costs are for the plan itself.
Perfect. And with that, is there what would be the proof of your own source funds? Would that be something that you put in, or is that just a bank statement saying that you have?
Yeah, there's really no proof. It's just there's an invoice for $7,500. You pay that invoice, submit it to ISET, and they give you 90% of that back. So they need the paid invoice.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they made it as simple, I think, as they could to make sure everyone that can get access to it.
Perfect. Is there, I'll ask a question if people have some more questions, but can you give us an example of some businesses that have been successful with getting the digital adoption going with their business, and any kind of information or examples?
Sure. I can give one, and then Tricia, if you have one, you can share too. We had a client who's in the appliance repair business, does a lot of that and has trucks all over the road. And their old way of monitoring it was, a whiteboard on the wall saying where they're supposed to be that day, and calling them on their cell phones to figure out where they are. So very basic. And they were also, the drivers would come in, fill their truck with whatever they wanted at the beginning of the day, come back, and there was no inventory management or control of that as well. So the company turned to the digital adoption plan, got the grant to develop a plan around managing 2 things. One, managing where the trucks were at any point and how so they could manage better the distribution of the trucks and who goes to what appointment. And 2, an inventory control so that they knew exactly what was on a truck at any time and what was in the warehouse at any time. So they worked with a coach to decide on 3 different solutions, narrowed that down to the one solution that they wanted. And the result of it over the last few months they've implemented, and they thought it was pretty simple, is an app that tracks all the locations of all the trucks. And they have a screen in the office that shows a list of where the address everybody's at. And then as well, they put together a system of inventory control where the drivers come in, take stuff out. They have to basically log that stuff out, and when they then at each site, they can log in the parts they use. So what they thought was maybe a complex solution, but because of the coach and the background they have, finding the right solution for that size company was pretty easy, and they made some significant efficient changes in the business.
So we have another example of a security company where they provide security monitoring services, and they've been having a lot of clients file information. So they've been trying to move that through onto a digital type of platform, to use a CRM system to try to automate. And it's taking them a very long time. They're finding it very cumbersome. They're not sure what's the best way to go about it. And so they heard about the CDAP and what this can do for them. So we have engaged with them and is looking at providing solutions, which is going to help them bring all of the old ways that they've been holding client files, some of it maybe on Excel spreadsheets, some of it on just even paper files, and moving that all into the digital platform. And through that discussion, they also talked about, well, I really want to make sure that my digital presence is online, because I want to be able to continue and start leveraging marketing ability using that sort of digital platform. And so that will be part of that discussion as well. It's not creating a marketing plan, but it's making sure that they have the infrastructure in place so that as they continue to leverage digital to market and bring in new clients and have new pipelines, that they have the system in place and ready to capture all of that information within there so that they can then utilize it to continue to grow their business. So there's lots of things that once you're working with our advisor that you may not even thought about, but through this very open dialogue discussion of understanding what you want to achieve, then a lot of this comes out into play and to create that action plan that works for you.
But what I will say is each solution we put together is unique to the business. So that's what I think is exciting about the CDAP plan. It is not a stock, here's the plan, implement it. It's much, it's catered to each individual business, what they need specifically for their business, and the coach will take the time it needs to make sure that they understand exactly what the business needs and what the best.
Thank you so much. And every business is different. And I think being a great business advisor is really taking the time, and communication is key, and coming in with prepared questions, coming in with a vision of where you are right now and where you would like to grow for the next year and the next 5 years and the next 10 years. So you're able to establish and develop those systems that you can grow with. Yep. And BDC is a bank for entrepreneurs, specifically geared towards business. I know all the other financial institutions out there have mortgages and have all different ideas, but really focus to the benefit of entrepreneurs, and have so many initiatives and campaigns, and specifically geared, as this forum is, towards Indigenous advancement. So I really want to thank Nick and Trisha, and if there's any more questions that anybody has.
Cindy asked here, do you have consultant coaching services available to assist in completing a CDAP plan after the grant is awarded? Yes. So we definitely do. That's what we've done. Trisha, we've probably done about 50 plans at least by now in the last year. So, and that's just in our little center. The bank itself has done, I'd be hundreds. So
100.
If you want to get in touch, we can talk about that. But we plan now. We don't do the implementation. That's usually done by the solution. So if the solution is to implement software or something like that, it's usually the company that running that to help you do the implementation. But the plan lays out. I want a big Excel spreadsheet. How long each phase is going to take, how much it's going to cost, and how to get you to the end.
That's great. And I have one more question. So when you do receive grants, what is the reporting that is required for it? So I know if you receive a grant, a lot of times it's what did you spend your money on, and what is your 3 month, 6 month, what have you. What kind of reporting is needed for this?
So for the ISED does the report. They in the agreement reserve the right to come in and basically audit. If it's random, they can't do they won't do every single grant. But if they issue the grant for the plan is submitted. So you have to submit a plan, and they approve the plan to make sure that they receive the grant. Once you receive the grant and the loan, they reserve the right to come in at some point in the future and or call you and say, could you please let me know on the progress of the plan, how you spent the loan, things like that. But it's not on every single situation. It's sort of on an ad hoc basis. They choose it at random.
Perfect. And one other question, can you tell us about the procurement? I know with BDC, with Indigenous particular, I know in other organizations, a lot of the procurement is things like corporate gifting. It's beautiful honorarium gifts for people. It's catering. It can be many different procurement opportunities for entrepreneurs to get involved. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Well, we have a whole procurement division on that. And Gina, you're absolutely correct. It can be products and it can also be services. And so as long as you meet that criteria of being defined as a diverse supplier that we had mentioned earlier on in the presentation. What was that percentage? Was it 51 or was it, 51% of individuals who are considered Indigenous person, women, LGBTQ community, cultural minority, visible minorities, or individuals with physical limitations or other disabilities. That is all defined as what is considered a diverse supplier. So once you are defined with that, then you can go through and just get yourself acknowledged through, I believe, one of the organizations that it's not a certificate, you can call it a certification, but it's basically getting that acknowledgement under. And then through that, you can then be part of BDC's approach BDC for that procurement. And you can also approach many of other companies and corporations out there and be part of that supply chain as well. And so again, there's a lot of information on bdc.ch/supplier. And if you are talking to a local business center, they will be able to assist and direct you with people within our organization that are the experts in that as well.
Thank you. And I know BDC is a champion and cheerleader of business success. So I know you spend a lot of time promoting the success and growth of businesses that are successful and wanting to uplift them and share them with your branches. So how would you do that if you've got a successful business that has had a great experience with BDC? And how does BDC platform and advertise and assist with that?
So if you've had a great experience, I would say, go to bdc.ca. Make sure you contact us. There's a list of business centers right across the country to get a hold of. All of business managers. If you know somebody, it's easy, just add bdc.ca after their name. You probably get their email address right. Lots of different ways to do that. We try to do testimonials as much as possible, and they help you and they help our business and yours as well. If you had a great experience, if you want us to help you with that, we do a lot of testimonials. We've had clients in our advertising campaigns. You saw a couple of pictures in our presentations that we use that. So there's a lot of different ways we sort of celebrate the fact that we're working with the small businesses right across the country. So there's a lot of different ways to do that.
We are also very involved with the network and with our local chambers and with their business nominations. So we're always wanting to recognize the successes of our clients and making sure that we also get them connected with other businesses that they can benefit from and have synergy and have opportunities to work together. And so we are, one of the things that they mentioned was about connectivity. Networking is a huge part of BDC, connecting businesses to businesses.
Excellent. I see that we had a question, and I'm not sure Nick can answer it, but from Cindy, looking to know what support and assistance BDC can provide with the implementation service providers for cybersecurity, et cetera. So,
yeah, we'll look into that. The implementation we don't get into specifically. It's for the plan up front. but choosing the right one, the coach can help the right one for the business. They don't have any preference in terms of which is better or worse. We try to find that.
Excellent. Well, this has been a great discussion. Is there any additional questions from anybody? Any last words? Maybe some last remarks from Trisha and last remarks from Nick?
Well, we thank you for the opportunity to sharing this information with you, and we look forward to supporting you right across through all of our business centers. And thank you for investing your time with us.
Yeah, no, I just really appreciate the opportunity. And, you know, I think when it comes to digital, people get intimidated by technology or changes. Don't be. It's critical to your business. Take the time to understand it and hire or get in touch with coaches that can help you understand it, because without adapting, without moving ahead in terms of innovation and technology, businesses unfortunately left behind.
Excellent. I usually ask my 11 and 12-year-olds about any kind of technology because they know 10 times more than I do.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've been around a while. When my technology challenges before with a flashing 12 on my VCR, that was what I dealt with when I was about that age growing up. Totally different challenges now.
All of us. Well, I can't thank you both enough for taking the time, and I thank you so much to all of our attendees during a work day. I know that that we're all busy. This presentation will be sent to you. This presentation will be YouTube, so we can share this. We did a presentation, a webinar before, and we've had over 3,000 views on YouTube. So I'm hoping to spread the knowledge and spread the information and the resources. BDC is your business bank. It's a bank for Canadian entrepreneurs. It's a bank for Indigenous entrepreneurs, for financing, advisory services, capital, and growth. So I just want to put my hands up. Thank you, Nick, and thank you, Trisha, so much for taking the time. Have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, everybody, and a beautiful day and a beautiful week.
Thanks, Gina.
Thank you.